Miranoi originally was in a different galaxy or universe because you can see the space was like similar to that of the Lost Galaxy. Then they come across Miranoi and it's in our galaxy. I was like, wait, where did that come from?
We made a joke. We was the Lost Galaxy all along. We made a joke in my podcast where like we
Twilight
love to
Rangers.
see like Beetleborgs and Masked Rider in the Lionsgate movies. So there's like Masked Rider and it's like oh, let me introduce you to my pet Burbus, and it's just this giant like hulking fur monster just.
So it's Saban's version of like the Avengers, where they got the Power Rangers, they got VR Troopers, they got Big Bad Beetleborgs, they got the Mystic Knights.
Yeah, oh my god, Mystic Knights would be so cool. I mean, a prequel series.
No, the Mystic Knights would be the name of the very first Power Rangers team.
Yeah, there you go.
They were called the Mystical Knights out in space.
So I believe you also had a question to start us off with.
Absolutely. And this is open to anyone else. We all have our headcanon when we watch Power Rangers. There's always that one Ranger that we identified with and we saw ourselves as, or maybe we invented one that was a variation of one. Like mine was Eric from Time Force. I love that guy. He would start from the bottom, he worked his way up, and he was ambitious. And it was his ambition and his drive to be better than himself. Some would call it selfishness, to take the quantum morpher, but I like that. I like the go-get-him attitude of Eric.
And I love the shipping with him and Taylor and all four things.
I would say RJ from Jungle Fury. I like the way that what they did with his character. Like he was like a master in the Pai Schwa, but he still had a lot to learn for his personal story arc. And it made me realize, like, even though you might see yourself as a teacher looking at students, you still have a lot to learn. Like, even though you're helping teaching the next generation, your story is still going. And that's what I really liked about it. I also like this suit. His suit was awesome. I like he was one of the few Rangers that could actually make purple really look super awesome.
I'll give the basic bitch answer and say Jason David Frank was my hero.
Yeah, same here.
Like not Tommy, I mean Tommy, yeah, like yeah Tommy, but Jason David Frank the actor.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's MMA now, so of course, yeah.
Me, honestly, Billy from the new movie, because like I'm autistic just like him, and just like watching him in the movie, it was like looking in a mirror. So like that scene where like they all jumped over the chasm and they're like rooting him on, and he's like scared to do it. Like that's exactly how I would be in that situation.
And I love the way how they treated Billy as well. Like they actually treated like an autistic person as an actual human being, and actually recognizes like there's faults, but there's also an actual human here. And I think they did a really good job with that.
Yeah, like it was like yes, he died in the movie, but like, and my friends were like, "Weren't you sad with that?" I'm like, no, because I knew he was going to come back.
Yeah,
why would they kill him like near the end of the movie?
And the fact that we hadn't seen them in their Zords yet, or in their suit, I kind of feel like that if we'd seen them in battle first, that probably would have had a bit more of an impact.
He was the first one to morph out of them.
Yeah. White shirt there? Yes, you.
Okay, sorry. So I didn't grow up with the original series. I grew up with Lightspeed Rescue first.
Oh, good. Yes. And
Carter Grayson was my idol.
Oh.
Like, honest to God, I saw all these guys like coming from different areas, and he was the only one who like saved people already. He's already the guy that's like, yes, I will put my life on the line to save these people, whether you gave me superpowers or not. So I love this guy that had this big heart, and then when he tried to run down the first monster with the Jeep, I was just like, this man is my spirit. Yes.
Carter Grayson.
Another stupid person in Power Rangers.
And then tried to attack a giant monster head on by himself, and I was like, oh.
If he was in from start to finish of Super Mega Force, that Empire would have been gone within a day.
Yeah.
Jeez.
If he was in Super Mega Force, it would have made the series 10 times better straight away. Well, I think he was in Super Bowl. Like, right at the Empire. He was in there from the start. If he was in there from the start, that would have been a whole different story for that series.
I think a lot of us grew up with the Lightspeed Rescue, Time Force, Wild Force series. At least my first introduction to Power Rangers was Lightspeed Rescue. It's funny because a lot of people didn't like the Lightspeed Rescue designs for their morphing suits. I liked it because it's nostalgia, but like a lot of the previous generation were like, I don't like their suits. It's like too much like black, like in the front.
It was a bit of a jarring experience with Lightspeed Rescue because that was actually the first series that was actually self-contained because all the previous seasons had worked off each other, even Lost Galaxy. So this was the first one where there was no previous canon, and eventually we would because we had the team up. But in terms of the storyline, it was all self-contained. They were starting from scratch. They didn't worry about any of the previous continuity, and I think that kind of came back to bite them in the ass when it came to the team ups or the 20th anniversary season. But yeah, that was a good experience for them. And
team-ups now.
yeah.
They have film footage for all the for all the Dino Rangers, and now for all the Ninja Rangers.
They don't have the copy. Saban doesn't have the rights to the Kyoryu like the Kyoryu Sentai team up. That's why they didn't do it.
Well, and there's also the fact that Saban is a cheapskate, as I mentioned earlier. Because, well, the other thing is that the fact that the show is now filmed in New Zealand, you also have to fly all the actors that were associated with that season. Most of them are also now with the Screen Actors Guild as well, so you also have to negotiate with them. I'm not sure if you know about this with Super Megaforce, but when it came to the legendary battle, they actually did not provide a lot of compensation for some of the actors to be there for that long. So some of them actually came in there out of pocket, but they still they still respected the show. And for those, I respect that they did that, and I also respect those who declined because Saban is a cheapskate.
Yeah.
You gotta sell toys. You with the sunglasses.
Yeah. So speaking of like Rangers that you could relate with, I think I grew up on the original series, and that's really the only one that I super got invested in. But
Yes, I can.
yeah, the Green Ranger, the way he was a strong character, but he was kind of like an outsider, and he came in as an outsider. He sort of like challenged the status quo, like he had that conflict with the Red Ranger. So he was like a good guy, but he was like controversial. I don't know, I just found that interesting.
Yeah.
And you over there in the back.
Yeah, I'm gonna be stereotypical and say the Pink Ranger because growing up is when it came out. I was like around 6 or 7, and for being a girl, you just never saw the girl being like kind of part of the team, like a hero. They're always like standing back and like aiding the main characters, and it was just really cool to see a girl being on the team with the Yellow Ranger.
Yeah, Kimberly, like I agree with you. Like I remember when they like I was in primary school when the show first came out, and that was the big thing around school, like for both guys and girls there, because especially for the girls as well, because you had the Pink and the Yellow Ranger, so it was really all inclusive. And they also got kids like to talk together, like role plays Power Rangers together. It was a great way to make friends.
And then you had Jen from Time Force, and you're just like, holy crap. Wes was the leader? No, Jen was the leader. I'm sorry.
Jen and West OTP.
So I think we're going to move on to the next topic here. So you've put down here personal favorite season. I'm going to start with you.
Time Force. I haven't really gone back to watch it since, but the feelings that gave me, the feeling of character arcs with somebody like Wes, who not reluctantly, but he's sort of the bumbling leader, and certainly I think Jen was the main leader throughout that season. But the way Jen sort of helps him, and it really comes down to being a mushball and loving the love story between Wes and Jen, and seeing how they hate each other. That was really well done, I think.
Yeah, I think it was really nicely done, and I also think Vernon Wells just killed it as Rancic. He was.
Rancic was awesome.
Rancic was a great villain, yeah.
Way better than Master War.
Yeah, way better than Master of probably one of the best villains in the series. But yeah, I think Time Force was a great series, and I like the multiple arcs and it was an implied romance, but it was also I thought really well done. Except for the end, I think they should have kissed.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I was like, kissed. I'm still chanting kiss.
Kiss, damn it!
Yeah, come on.
Did they film the scene where like they did?
The censors.
Eric being
Oh yeah.
because they didn't want to kill us.
Oh, I just like that part.
So for me, my personal favorite seasons now. In our Watch Mojo video, we put In Space as number 1, and I do agree that Space is a great season. But my personal favorite season would be RPM, and I like RPM for a few reasons. Mostly because it actually challenged the status quo that is Power Rangers, and it actually did something brand new and different with it. I also especially love the characters in it. Olivia Tennant as Dr. K is probably my favorite character in the whole franchise. She did such an incredible job, and I like the way they portrayed her. I like the conflict she had, especially with that plot twist was gut-wrenching. That was probably like I was speechless when I found out. I was in my 20s when RPM came out, and that hit me hard. That was huge. With RPM, Olivia Tenner, who plays Dr. K, when you find out the revelation that she was the one that created the Vengex virus.
Yeah, that was like.
Yeah, that was a huge thing. It's like she's actually responsible for essentially the deaths of millions of people around the world, and especially for the fall of civilization. Like that's a burden that I couldn't imagine. I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy.
Yet they give her a get out of jail free card.
I did think it was that. Like that's we're going to bring up to the next point. Like I do kind of wish they didn't replace the writing staff, which is what they did. They brought in Judd Lynn, which perhaps to him he did a great job. But it does feel like there are two different seasons at times to time. Like for one, we never find out Dylan and Tanaya's backstory. I do feel like there's room to expand on in the RPM universe, and I'd love to see them do more stuff like that. What I also liked is that it was also one of the few seasons where the Rangers actually went on the offensive. Mm-hmm. Because there was a point where they had to infiltrate the factory to take out the super weapon.
It's not Lightspeed.
And there was also that moral dilemma as well. They had to destroy the factory, but there were also human prisoners in there, including Dylan's sister. So it was like, do you destroy the factory and end up risking the lives of all the prisoners, including Dylan's sister, which we don't know at the time, or do you get the prisoners out first and risk the city? That's a great dilemma there. I think that was great.
I like RPM a lot. Just as a brown guy, seeing a brown man as the Red Ranger. Just seeing that, just because the minorities were often relegated as yellow or blue or green. It was nice. Like someone like me can be the Red Ranger. It kind of feels, maybe other people don't feel that way, but for me it meant a lot. I'd love to hear from the rest of you guys.
Yep.
Power Rangers Ninja Force is great just because of the Megazords.
Ninja Storm?
Ninja Storm, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ninja Storm was.
Down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, like the 30-second like.
Whenever they have like the weapons pop out of the chest, I love that.
Yeah.
Like, a dozen different things.
On the sales room floor, they actually have one of those like flat plane of glass light up things where it changes different colors, and it's the Ninja Storm Megazord. What was it, Hurricane Legend?
Hurricane
Megazord is when the two combine.
There's a lot to keep track of in
It's
this
been
show.
years since I've seen that. Yeah. There's a lot of seasons.
Yeah. My next favorite season would probably be Dino Thunder, though.
Cool. Why?
Well, for one, it was that callback to the original, which I feel they actually did better this time with better cast. Plus, they brought back Jason Dever Frank, which is already an instant win. But I also like how they actually treated these kids. They were actually high school students. They were inner demons. They were actually like three unlikely people that were all from different worlds, and they had to come together. It was destiny that called them, but at the same time, they did not want anything to do with each other, and they came together and they saw each other's faults. And
it's cool how different seasons have, like, there's some seasons, like, I'm a big fan of Lightspeed and Time Force, and it's interesting that the majority of the Rangers on those two casts, or like before they were Rangers, were like ready for it, or in Time Force they were trained for it. Whereas in some seasons they're like plucked out of, or like even in the movie, they're like plucky teenagers, they're like fumbling through it. So it's interesting to see people's favorites. Like, do you like the people who are Ranger ready, or do you like the people who are Ranger rough and ready? You were there.
For me, it'd be probably Lost Galaxy.
I like Lost Galaxy as
With
well.
an honorable mention to Jungle Fury.
Yeah, that was good too.
I just really like kind of the feel of Jungle Fury, but if I had to go like storyline, I really liked Lost Galaxy. I really got into the Magna Defender. The Lights of Orion saga is probably my favorite part of that entire thing. And just kind of seeing, like, let's start the season off with the guy who's supposed to be the Red Ranger dead. And watching his brother, who has to take the Red Ranger, knowing it's not his, and having to deal with not only the death of his brother, but a power that doesn't belong to him, and like start off as like, woe is me, this like it's not mine, and come into this like, you know what, it may not have been mine at the start, but it's mine now, and I've made this mine, and I've become this leader. When he started off as like, I'm gonna sneak onto the ship.
Exactly. He's the King George VI of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna start with you first.
Lightspeed Rescue, because Global 5 never had its own 6th Ranger. it did have its own Sixth Ranger-esque character, but he never treated him as a Sixth Ranger. So what Saban did was bring in a whole new American-made Ranger, which I could say the character could have been more interesting, but just the design of the suit was something. Was just it was something that you would never expect from a Power Rangers series.
I loved the Titanium Ranger arc because you could play off the other characters. You know, his sister, who was developed, all of a sudden is conflicted. Does she fight him in battle? You know, or do the other Rangers because they care about? I mean, her name escapes me. But
Also, I just love Diabolico.
Yeah.
He's so cool, and the fact that like Captain Mitchell made like a deal with Diabolico to like save his son from death when like they got in an accident and comes back and he's evil and like they all come confront Mitchell. It's like, oh, what's going on? And he's like, I messed up. I made a deal with the devil. I'm sorry. And I just love that.
So that's all our best seasons. Now let's shift gears and go for worst seasons. Oh boy, yeah. I say go ahead and just.
It's gotta be Ninja Steel.
Yeah.
Ninja Steel?
Only 8 episodes in, already worst season ever.
Okay, I gotta be honest, I still haven't caught up with Ninja Steel yet because I've just been busy, but I'll take your word for that and we'll see how it goes from there.
that's sort of when I fell out of Power Rangers, was Wild Force. It was right after Time Force.
Ninja Steel, not Ninja Storm.
Oh, we're talking about our worst
Yeah.
season that we don't like.
Yeah, worst season.
Wild Force.
Wild Force.
Yeah. I know. No, it's just for me. It's just for me. It's just for me.
Admittedly, like the first half of Wild Force is really intriguing, and
then he tapers
and
off.
then it takes a vertical drop,
Yeah.
where it's like we're singing songs to giant mechanical beasts.
Well, what I'd initially written down, what I initially written down on the points was like, we're serious, but also like missed opportunities, you know? Because like there's something, we all love Power Rangers, we can forgive its flaws, because every season has flaws, but it's just Wild Force that just seemed to, it just went in a direction I didn't, it went a little bit too lofty, which is weird because previous seasons like Lightspeed and Time Force were a little lofty. And I can't define what it is I didn't like about Wild Force as much, because I love all the seasons, I just didn't like Wild Force as much.
Yeah, Wild
You
Force.
guys can school me.
Yeah, Wild Force I thought was like okay, but I feel like it could have been good. Like Forever Red is a great episode. Like I'm not questioning that, but the rest of the season, not the best. For me, my worst season would have to be Operation Overdrive. Like that was like, what were you guys doing? Well, actually no, the writer's strike actually happened with Jungle Fury. That actually was the next season. But yes, what happened was they had such a minuscule budget and they wanted to do this globe-trotting series, but without the budget, like they cut corners everywhere, and it shows. And it also, I really feel like it was rushed because there's a lot of cases where the characters will go in, will just leap into action, not thinking of their consequences, and then getting their asses kicked. And they do it, and they might even do the same mistake multiple times, and they don't acknowledge it. And also, the characters, speaking of the characters, they are so unlikable. Dax!
I skimmed through it with Overdrive, and I was like, nope. That's why I said, because I actually like remember watching Wild Force. Overdrive was like, nope, no thanks.
Yeah, like, I could go on about Operation Overdrive. That was actually, I stopped watching it like about 3/4 of the way through. I was like, that's it, I've had enough. I was thinking it was just shortly after the Once a Ranger season that I just got fed up. And the thing about Once a Ranger, which I know was Operation Overdrive supposedly saving grace. No, it was not. If anything, it just made them even worse. What happened? What I really don't like about Operation Overdrive is Once a Ranger, is these characters, they come in, they get their asses kicked when all the villains start teaming up, and then the Sentinel Knight brings in these legendary Rangers, like they're all well respected from especially Adam. So while they're off fighting, the Operation Overdrive Rangers just quit, and then they suddenly realize, oh, maybe we should do something. They go get the sword. They go get Excelsior, which is a stupid name. They get the sword. It's like, okay, we can't get it. We're just going to give up. And then the lady who guards the sword just gives it to them. It's like, what? You didn't earn that. And to make things even worse, when they come back to the Retro Rangers fighting in the Operation Overdrive Zords, they're getting their asses kicked. Then Matt comes in with the sword, without a suit, and ends up annihilating them. And it just makes the Legacy Rangers just look like incompetent in comparison, when the fact that the Operation Overdrive Rangers didn't earn that respect to begin with, and they did it again during the final battle, because not a single one of the Retro Rangers actually kills the monsters, because the monsters are actually all one-shotted. First of all is the Vulturus, which is one-shotted by Mac, which I just said. He comes back again, he's one-shotted by Tyzon, and then Thrax, I think his name was, he ends up kicking Adam's ass, which is probably the most well-respected Ranger, and then he gets one-shotted by the Sentinel Knight. It's like, what the hell are you guys doing? I'm sorry, guys, I'm sorry.
Was she related to Ghost Home? Just handing out upgrades?
I probably. This Power Rangers, anything's possible.
Yeah. Simple as
You also have to bring up the fact about Bridge in Once a Ranger as well.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my memories are from the future. It's like, but right now you would technically be like 4, possibly 3.
Yeah, that was like, I can see why they had Bridge there, because obviously they couldn't get Brandon, I can't remember their name, Brandon,
The original Red Ranger for SVD couldn't come back.
and then they tried to get Sky.
Sorry, Sky, they couldn't get in contact with. The original Red Ranger, he didn't want to come back due to him dating the Yellow Diamond Thunder Ranger for a small bit of time. So he didn't want things to be awkward on set.
But even if they did have the original SPD Rangers, either one of the two, it still wouldn't have saved Once a Ranger. I'm sorry.
That was the reason why Once a Ranger didn't do so well. Spawn is cheap.
Well, no. Well, that was actually the time when Disney owned the series, so Saban had nothing to do with that one.
That was the show.
So, Operation Overdrive was really hard to beat for me in terms of just like terrible series, because everything you said is true. Everything they could get wrong, they did. But there was something that beat it out for me. And that was, I want to, what's the one with the Legacy War?
Super Mega Force.
Mega Force and Super Mega Force.
Oh boy,
For
oh
me,
boy, oh boy.
Because here's the thing. It's the same problems I have with Operation Overdrive. It's basically a completely unlikable cast and a storyline that just, the wheel is turning, the hamster's dead, you know what I mean?
Super Mega Force and Super Mega Force are its own thing, but yeah, keep going.
The thing that set it above Operation Overdrive for me is they took everybody else down with it.
Oh.
And you would think with Operation Overdrive and Once a Ranger just how god-awful terrible that was. Like, that took a lot of series down with it. Except this one took everyone down with it.
Yeah, they screwed up big time with Megaforce, the anniversary seasons. Do you want to start with Megaforce?
Megaforce, people told me it wasn't good. I didn't check it out. You guys are the diehard fans.
Okay. Well, in that case, I did check out.
Samurai's theme during a finisher once. They accidentally used Samurai's theme.
Yes, I saw that. I was like, why did you do that?
Speaking of Samurai quickly, like, I didn't like it because they tried to copy Shinkenger, like, exactly, and it's just like, okay, at least make Jaden an Asian guy, because, like, his name's Jaden Shiva, and he's like a white dude, it's weird.
That was a case where they were really rushing things. They just didn't understand what made Shinkenger as good as it was. Because a lot of what makes Shinkenger good was the Japanese culture attached to it, and the fact that the audience would actually need to understand this Japanese mythos, which, because Shinkenger was filmed and shot and distributed in Japan, that would be easy. But when you bring it overseas, you lose a lot of that. And also, they dumbed it down. The dialogue was terrible. So many terrible puns. Like, you go from RPM, which I think had really good writing, to Samurai. It's night and day, just how much of the shift in the quality was. But let's go. I'm just going to bring it back to Megaforce here. What happened? Like, I feel like this was a series that tried to bank on nostalgia, but it was fan service without context. You need context with fan service, otherwise it's just.
Say, student of Zordon. What? Where'd you come from?
What makes it even worse is Super Mega Force, the Sentai that it's based off of, is amazing.
Yeah, Gokaiger. I don't want.
So here's the thing. I don't watch Sentai, right? Like, I watch a lot of Power Rangers, I love my Power Rangers, but I don't watch the Sentai. I have a bunch of friends who don't watch Power Rangers, but they watch the Sentai. So when I go and I show them these suits, and I'm like, no, dude, this season was terrible, they went, what?
Yeah.
You sit and watch this. And I watched a little bit, admittedly not everything, but like the first 1 or 2 episodes of Gokaiger, and I'm like, I love all these people. I love this guy in particular. Like I forget what his name is. He has a weird, kind of stupid name.
Captain Marvelous?
Captain Marvelous. Yes.
I love that. I love his jacket. I want his jacket.
I love everything. Like everything to do with his character is just like it's Trevor Belmont from the Castlevania anime if he was a Power Ranger. And so I'm just like.
So in like one sentence, if you can sum up for those of us who haven't seen Mega Force or Super Mega Force, what's the consensus on it? What have they done that's a cardinal sin?
Epic wasted opportunity, I think is probably the best way to describe it. That
was a topic I wrote down, biggest missed opportunity.
That was the biggest wasted opportunity because the thing about Mega Force is for 2 years they were hyping up the legendary battle where you had every single one of the Rangers, which was a scene that appeared right at the start of Gokaiger, which immediately didn't last very long, so I was wondering, are they going to film extra scenes for that? They did, but they weren't very good.
Did they bring back the Time Force Rangers?
They brought back, well, here's the thing, for those of you who haven't watched the legendary battle, so it was supposed to involve every single Ranger. They only got a few actors to play it, the rest of them were just stand-ins in the suits. Some of them didn't even have any lines. Like, they flew them all the way to New Zealand and they didn't do anything with them. Like it was all in the last season. All in the last episode, I'm sorry. And they were filmed, like I said before, they were hyping this battle up. For 2 years, the battle lasts less than 2 minutes. That is where Super Mega Force failed.
But they just save money so that they can make as much profit as possible and sell toys.
Well, I think it hurt them when it came to Dino Charge. I was really burned badly with Super Mega Force. I didn't come into Dino Charge until maybe like midway through. It is good, yes, I agree. It's good, except for the finale. The finale, I think
I laughed at the finale.
Yeah, I showed him the finale. He didn't watch it. Well, like, you have to just see how fucked up this gets.
What were they thinking?
No, and so then me and him were just like, you did not see one dinosaur in Ninja Steel? It's over, we're done.
Not even perfect. I saw him see a dinosaur in.
So, Mega Force, do you think something like that kind of concept can be redeemed in future seasons or future movies, maybe?
I think if they're going to do that in future seasons, they have to commit to the season from start to finish. They can't just leave it to just one episode and put all their eggs in one basket.
Oh, and apparently choosing for Ninja Steel was because I think it was juggling. He said he liked ninjas more than trains. I'm sorry, but what do kids love more than ninjas? Trains. I used to carry around a Thompson tank in my hand everywhere I went.
I wanted Tokyuju to be adapted so because Tokyuju's my favorite Sentai. I'm sorry, I love it. It's great. But just when I heard they weren't doing it, like skipped so much, they're skipping Zoojer now.
I was really disappointed when they had to skip Go Busters because I really liked the aesthetics of that one.
That could have been the perfect opportunity for like continuing like RPM.
I know.
Having our universe, so it's like it's the RPM Rangers, but not really. It's them in our world.
And like you see the aesthetics of that, and like it's very similar to RPM. Like there's one scene where it actually has like a cylinder with a giant red circle that looks like Vengex in the Sentai, like that thing. The other thing is the Mooks have this V on their foreheads, so that could stand for Vengex. Like so huge opportunity there. Nope.
It won't do well for toys. Power Rangers.
No one wants a binocular sword.
They can use the Zord Builder system with them, so I don't get it.
Sorry, I didn't get that, sir.
They can even use the Zord Builder system with it. Like, I can understand why they're skipping Georgia because of no Zord building system compatibility. So they could have done Go Busters. The skips are only what?
They're made out of leather.
No, but no, I mean, like, they say that certain props and certain costumes have like a shelf life.
Yeah.
Even at the time when they were doing Superman Force, Go Busters was over like a good 2 years.
So it doesn't mean you can't maybe you have to spend money.
Not to mention that in Go Busters, the Rangers usually take off their helmets on line, thus consisting more money into filming original sequences with them in Ranger uniforms.
Yeah.
That means you have to ship over all the other monster outfits over, thus putting more money towards something instead of just
We need HBO power.
I'm pretty sure like they already ship over the monster suits like after each Sentai season is over now. I think that's pretty much the standard now. Because like I've seen some of the behind the scenes stuff where they literally have all the monster suits. Even some of the suits that actually don't appear in the show that were only in the Sentai. So and it's also mostly a budget thing, and also because of Nickelodeon's contract.
They did use one of the costumes, well, partially one of the costumes from Tokuger as a villainous character, a villain-esque character in Ninja Steel.
Yeah.
The Baron. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was just had another thought before. You were talking about missed opportunities in previous Power Rangers seasons. I was actually just thinking about this one earlier today with a missed opportunity, and this one dates back all the way to the original Mighty Morphin, and that's the Dark Rangers. If you remember the Dark Rangers, they looked stupid. Because they were literally like recolored putty suits. You know where I feel like they had that huge opportunity to use? Use the Die Ranger suits for the Dark Rangers. Seriously, like.
Instead of the Ranger suits, we got legendary Ranger powers that are not explained.
But we did kind of get a little bit of retribution with that in space with the Psycho Rangers.
The Psycho Rangers were great.
They were some of the best.
That was at the same time that was like 3 years later, but the 3-year redemption, like that might have redeemed them then, but back when the Dark Rangers plotline came up, come on, they looked ridiculous. They looked like gimps.
They made a return back when they made a crossover with the Space Rangers and Lost Galaxy.
Yeah, the Psycho Rangers, yeah, and that was a great team up as well.
There was like other crossover episodes, like Night of Thunder
It was pretty much like an annual thing until Mystic Force, and then they kind of stopped.
It was an annual thing until.
That was after.
Ninja Storm skipped it because they shifted production.
And then it was Operation Overdrive, that was the last time that they did it.
Yeah, that was the last time they did it.
So Flash or Red Rangers.
Which I would barely count as a crossover.
So that should be filmed or, their time.
Well, what really bugs me about Clash of the Red Ranger, like I said before, like RPM's my favorite season, they really botched Scott's character. They made him look like such a hothead. They made the dialogue made him sound like he's an asshole most of the time. And the idea that he can't take off his suit because he's worried he can't breathe the atmosphere. You were breathing the atmosphere when you were outside the dome. What are you worried about? I think they looked at that from Mass Effect or something because.
The reason was that he couldn't make it to. I think he couldn't make it to New Zealand for some reason. I think he had like a family problem or something.
Well, in that case, use a different actor if you're only going to get one. If you're gonna use just one actor, get an actor you can actually use.
But to go back to the Evil Ranger thing, like Boom Studios finally, took the idea of an Evil Ranger.
Lord Drakon. Drakon or Drakon?
Dragon.
He's a dragon. Okay. Yeah, that's a really cool design. I'll admit. Actually, maybe that's something we should see in the new Power Rangers movie sequel.
Yeah, I was literally just saying it. I think nobody heard, but it was like, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that as a legacy figure. But no, they missed out on that opportunity for San Diego Comic-Con.
Well, what are you gonna do?
It'd be cool if, I think the Tommy, because a lot of people like the Green Ranger Tommy arc. That would be so cool to see done well in a sequel. I'm really hoping for it.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to the next topic here. We're going to talk about the original season because we were talking about before. Now, there's a lot of debate. Like, is it just nostalgia? Does it hold up?
No.
No.
It's silly.
I agree. Like, here's the
Everybody
thing.
holds up.
Okay, I'm going to tell you guys a bit of a story. Like, because I work with Watch Mojo, channel with 15 million subscribers, we get a lot of comments whenever something Power Rangers comes up. And whenever we do a Power Rangers video, that we always get comments of people saying, why isn't this guy from Mighty Morphin #1? Or why isn't Mighty Morphin #1 in our #1 seasons? the series does not hold up, to be honest. I love the season, but looking back at it on adult eyes, it's not good. Like, especially the second season has a lot of problems, especially with the editing. Like, I do editing with a company, and I look back at that and I'm like, why? Why did you make these decisions? Like, some of the shots didn't line up right. A lot of shots they end up reusing between episodes, especially with Lord Zed's sequences. Like, if you actually watch some of this episodes back to back, you'll notice he moves around in the exact same pattern, and the characters will talk around because they're reusing footage. I can understand when they were using Zeo Ranger, but this was all original stuff. Like, why? You had an opportunity to use it, and also like the Zord cockpit. In season 2, like they only did a couple of shots because that was what they did with Zordon. Fun fact, for those of you who don't know, they only filmed Zordon once.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did him with a couple of expressions, just talking, which is why his lips don't sync up. I think it was one where he said, no balls, it's under the ball. I think they only used that shot once. But that was the thing, they reused a lot of footage because I think you all know where I'm going to go with this. Yeah, well, I think you guys summed it up, yeah.
But they created something, like, that's why we're all here. They created something, like, organic from a low budget. It's kind of like if you're a fan of indie music or indie movies. Mm-hmm. You know, like, well, we're not here... Would Power Rangers... I mean, would Power Rangers benefit? Yeah.
What they did right...
Would benefit from that.
Really right.
Yeah, they did. Well, the fact that it's got a legacy all these years later and it's still going, I think speaks for itself.
Right, and there's still things from, like, newer seasons, and admittedly, I haven't seen anything past like whatever was before Direct Charge.
Yeah, I would say Zeo I think holds up pretty well. Mm-hmm. Like I look back at some of those episodes and I think that they
a lot of people consider that the best. Linkara, I think, calls Zeo the best.
I've actually talked to Linkara about this. He actually considers In Space the best.
Right. Zeo would consider that there. Zeo, those few years in the mid-90s, they really hit their best.
I think so. Yeah.
Zeo seemed like the next logical progression of it, where it's like you're so used to like get the MacGuffin, right? And so when the MacGuffin ends up becoming like new powers that grow every time you fight, it's like, oh, okay, so this is important and this actually makes sense. It's following. I get this, right? And so when they have new suits, you're like, yeah, I get that they have new suits. I'm okay with this. But when they went from like
Zeo to Turbo.
When they went from Zeo to Turbo, which was like, you have the Zeo crystals, which, by your own canon, gain power every time you fight. But vroom vroom though.
How I think they could have fixed that is have the Zeo crystals, like, instead of being destroyed, have them be integrated into the new Zord's new powers.
But it was never destroyed.
That was the thing.
No,
Yeah.
but if they weren't, like instead of them being destroyed, say have Billy or whoever was working on the new Zords and the new powers use the energy that was flowing from the Zeo crystals and use them as like a basis or an energy, like an energy battery. Yeah, use them as a battery for each as a power source for each.
After at least if you combine the two, it would seem still kind of forced, but at least like, oh, we have something for the Zeo crystals to do. What made the Turbo Power Rangers movie so stupid right off the bat is she morphs into Zeo Ranger 1 in the movie.
And that's never explained.
And
Why?
that's never explained. She just hits the water and somehow that short circuits the like morphing sequence.
For everyone, apparently, because no one else tries to morph.
Well, apparently they did film footage of them like in their Zeo suits because like they go to fight Divatox and like they get their ass kicked and you see them like crawling out of the beach or whatever and their helmets are damaged and they're like, crap, okay, our Zeo suits don't work anymore, let's use Turbo, sure, cool. Apparently they filmed that, but it was just like, it was too much. So.
I could see that if they actually did that, they would still fuck up.
I wanted Tommy to use the flamethrower.
Well, because
back in the
it just goes
VHS.
down how, like with Divatox. Divatox was terrible.
She was not. No, I have to disagree. She was not. She was like really way too campy. She was really petty. Her plans was just moronic. Like she kept on planting bombs with really long timers.
Fire the torpedoes.
And fire the torpedoes like. Whoa.
And she would rob like Legend stories?
We need good
Yeah,
villains
like
in this season.
Where it was like,
She had
what
very,
use do you have for
she has very petty motivations. That's the other thing. And also, on top of that, she's the one that just tries to the power chamber.
No.
Yeah.
Elgar leads the charge. Screw you to the nth degree. Elgar? I hated this guy throughout the entire series, and I agree with Linkara. You've got a spiked ball of death that is constantly on the submarine ship with her, but
He also just looks like a One Piece enemy.
he looks like a One Piece enemy fused
Yeah.
with a Sentai.
Yeah, we're just gonna hear from the back there.
So I've seen every episode of Power Rangers from Lost Galaxy to Samurai. So when I decided, because of Linkara's review of In Space, I wanted to see everything, and since it's kind of, it goes from the beginning to In Space, it's kind of a continuing story. I started, and it just it was way too cheesy for me to continue.
Yeah, one of the biggest problems with the original season is there's a lot of filler.
Watch
That's
Linkara's
easily the biggest
history of
problem.
Power Rangers and you'll...
Yeah, I've
from
seen
that.
that.
I can understand it back in the day. I don't think they were expecting it to be this long running season, so I think they were trying to go for the Scooby-Doo style where it's like there's
Episodic every week.
episodic every week. Every nothing's in order or anything. You can air anything in any order. Well, that was good back in the 60s or 70s when kids weren't paying attention. But in the 90s, everyone started paying more attention now.
Yep.
That's also when the internet started to come around, so that's also when...
It's what broadcast television, what we did, it was like these 3 golden rules. One of them was that your audience is God, and they have a say if you can renew it or not.
Yeah.
That's true. That is very true. The world of television is also very cutthroat. It's very risky, very cutthroat. So if you have a show that works, you want to stick with that show.
Yep.
Which you have.
There was he was saying about there's no explaining, one of the weirdest with no explanations, like how they went from 0 to turbo. But I think, do you know there's one plot hole element that got never resolved that should be used in a Power Ranger sequel? The Phantom Ranger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love the Phantom Ranger.
You know what Phantom Ranger? Rebel Alpha.
No, Zordon's son.
That would have been, but it should have been Billy.
Sort of. Oh, well.
Yeah, or...
Well, that would make much sense though, because Dark Spectre captured Zordon. So
Technically, he could be our answer to Aqua Red. They could bring him back and be like, oh, I am the embodiment of every single Ranger.
But then that would break the continuity that he originally had.
How about be a Time Lord? I don't care.
I actually like that idea. They should bring him back, but maybe if you were to bring back an original Ranger, but have it more mysterious, but have it something that's long lasting throughout each season. He'll pop every once in a while, but it's also a way to
Was the Magnet Defender ever explained? Or?
The Magnet Defender, there was there was in this battle in his homeworld, and then he lost his son.
It was a mini version of him, which was so new.
But there was some mystery surrounding him. Right?
Yeah, Sentai's brother.
The Red Ranger's brother took the Magnet.
He possessed his body.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that might be something that could be brought back. I didn't. Was the man? He wasn't brought in.
Well, he's dead. The Magnet Defender.
Oh, they can bring him back. In this series, they can.
They also used the origin.
My favorite, the Blue Centurion. I loved him.
Yeah, what happened to him? He just took up to Eltar and never appeared again.
Wasn't talking. This thing oh, Rangers work.
He got the hell
Most of the side characters.
Well, Ninja.
Do you know how many continuity errors this show already has? Pretty much.
Actually, that would be a cool thing. Maybe because I'm such a Time Force nerd. It would be like if a new series, Wes and Jen live in the future, and it just takes place in the future.
Also, Alex was a dick.
Yeah.
God, was he a dick? For Turbo?
What kind
Alex,
of-
the West's descendant.
Oh,
Yeah.
So there is one more question I'd like to bring up. So let's assume hypothetically that Super Sentai got cancelled. What would happen? Would Saban actually try to make Power Rangers 100% their own thing? And if so, what theme would you like to see them do? That they're not attached to anything Sentai related. So,
Well, video games.
the video games is a good one. Yeah, there's another one.
No, there are tons of series that haven't made it to English Power Rangers, so no, Saturn would get. He would scrape the bottom of the barrel before he would film.
You would use the Korean soy sauces. You could use those.
Yeah, that's another thing.
There's another one. I think it's one from China. It's like the sport Rangers.
Oh, that's Power Rangers from
Oh,
Thailand.
yeah, Thailand.
Oh my god.
I would like to see a Wild West thing.
Yes, good one.
That would be so cool. I understand. Like if they were to do like a 100% Western version, I think a Wild West theme would be the good one to start with.
Make it throughout like different parts of history. Make do like a Mystic Knights thing. Where it's like medieval times, like Power Rangers. That'd be cool.
Yeah. In the back of the
That's a really
glasses.
good one.
Yeah, I feel like if they were going with kind of like sort of like a really modern theme that they try and do a lot, I think they might try and take it and make it almost like hyper realistic. Like they almost don't have powers. Like they maybe have like a little bit of power, but they're just kind of like still normal people. Like really emphasize the realism.
So it won't be like Christopher Nolan's version of Batman. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
They put on suits, but they're not superpowers.
Right, yeah.
Or make Power / Rangers an actual show. HBO, there's your issue.
Power / Rangers.
I loved that film.
I liked it too. Like when that came up, like that went. Everyone in my office was talking about it. Even people who don't watch Power Rangers was talking about it because they actually really liked it.
Power / Rangers fan?
That was the unofficial bootleg. Had Katie Sackler from Battlestar Galactica in there, and also had what's his name?
James Vanderbeek.
James Vanderbeek. Yeah.
Also, what's her name from Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah, I just mentioned that. Katie
Oh,
Sackler.
yeah, I didn't recognize her name.
I think a cool Power Rangers series might be a colonial series, like the Power Rangers. I mean, they've touched on it in the past, but maybe something a bit more gritty, like indigenous population. The Power Rangers, they have a version that protects them, and they have to protect against, almost like a Pocahontas thing.
So it's like Power Rangers Avatar.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
It could work. It could work.
Yeah. We're just gonna go up the back there with this hand.
I always imagine like what would have happened if Mystic Force and SPD had their team up because of it magic and technology. So I would a season where it's like magic technology.
Well, the way I would like to see that team up, if that would have happened, I think they should have involved the A Squad. Considering how well the In Space Lost Galaxy did with Psycho Rangers, I think they should have brought back the A Squad for that. It would also have been a good opportunity if they had all the Rangers on board, 15 Rangers. Yeah, but no, that's not going to happen. It's a cost-saving measure.
What? Make them like aliens from another planet. Like, dude, take the Alien Rangers and like actually make like a full series about them.
Yeah, well, I've heard one of the biggest one of the biggest concerns is that it would be difficult to ride around. So the whole concept was like, you have the A Squad. They're the ones going back in time. They're there to kill Doggy Kruger because there is the day that Doggy Kruger first arrives on Earth after he escapes from his homeworld after it's been destroyed. Kill Doggy Kruger, no SPD, which doesn't really make much sense now I think about it in my head because they're the A Squad with SPD. So, okay, never mind.
They capture him.
What are they capturing?
And they torture him, but they figure out a way on how they can still be around without him.
I like this guy's thinking.
All right, right there.
So I have a question for you guys. It's
Yeah.
like a what-if scenario.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
If you could make a team of 5 Rangers using Rangers from like multiple series, but you can't cross colors. So like no too much pink energy is bad.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
okay, so I guess I'll start. Well, first of all, with a Pink Ranger, it has to be Jen. Has to be Jen, no question. For a Green Ranger, I think obviously it has to be Tommy. I don't think there's going to be any argument with that. For, I'm going to get Dylan from RPM as the Black Ranger. For Yellow Ranger, I am going to go with, who should I go with? Maybe Kira from Dino Thunder. Blue Ranger, I would choose Sky.
Yep.
And I think that just leaves Red.
You said blue for Kira?
No, yellow for Kira.
Okay.
And so for Red, I would choose, obviously it can't be Tommy because he's the Green Ranger. Yeah, fuck it, let's say Carter. So I think that's all the colors there. I think, did I miss anyone?
Yeah, a lot of overlaps.
Six Ranger, like
Wild card Green Ranger.
Oh, Six Ranger. Well, technically it would be Tommy because he's the Green Ranger.
Then you did
Ryan?
have 6 Rangers.
So, hey, let me say again. So we had Jen, we had Kira, you had Tommy, you had Dylan, You had Sky, and you had Carter. That's 6. That's 6. Okay, your turn.
Billy for the blue. I picked Carter for red as well. I picked Jen for pink. I picked Eric as my 6th.
Would that count though, since Eric's also technically a red ranger?
He's a 6. Yeah.
Well, yes.
Or I can pick the Magnet.
Well, he said you can't cross colors.
Oh, okay, fine. Magnet Defender is my 6th.
Okay.
Does that leave a yellow? I'm not sure which yellow. You got it. You got it.
Okay.
That's like the one color I like blank on for like yellow. So Carter, Billy, Jen, Eric, Mystic Force, yellow, and what color am I missing?
I think I'm missing blue.
Didn't I say Billy?
Oh yeah, sorry, you
Okay.
did say Billy. I think it's like a black or a green ranger.
Green Ranger. Gonna go for my man Tommy.
Yeah.
That art was really well done, and it spanned and they kept bringing him back in later seasons. Tommy, I don't know. Tommy, that's another thing for missed opportunities. He can rectify the Megaforce arc maybe by coming in and really doing it right. Do you think Tommy still has a place in modern day Power Rangers, or would it be fan service? Or?
I think if they were to bring back Tommy, I think they would actually have to have him as an actual storyline. I don't think you can just bring him back as a guest character now, because it is at this case now where people are watching Power Rangers for its long-term continuity. And after they screwed up with Megaforce and Super Megaforce, I definitely think you need to do something with that. And also the fact that if you would bring back any of the classic Rangers, I think you would need to put an in-depth story arc with them as to why they're there. Because as Saban obviously figured out, you can't have fan service without context.
I think the Power Ranger fan base deserves and would support, a slightly more serious Power Ranger series. Not gritty, but
RPM.
Yeah.
RPM. It was dark but not gritty. I would say.
More of that. More of that, Saban.
Yeah. Let's go.
More of that.
Yeah.
Say that right to the camera.
Let's go back to the RPM timeline.
Well, why don't we say have 2 kinds of Power Ranger series? One that's for older adults and one that's for kids.
Yeah, maybe on Netflix.
Yeah, what they want to do with Netflix.
That would be cool. Maybe I'll write up a pilot and submit to Netflix.
But the budget wouldn't have to be that big. But we just need good writing, good characters. They're creative people. If you hire the right people, they could write around the fact that it's a low budget.
And also a lot more mature themes as well.
Yeah.
Let's break the mold.
Yeah. And they can make Archie comics into something gritty. Come on. We can do that with Power Rangers, right?
I'm not sure if they should go full 100% gritty because you look at Fan Force Stick.
Yeah.
That was gritty, but it was gritty and that's it.
Somebody turn on a light.
Not Fan Force Stick.
Knock
on wood. That won't be the sequel.
Yeah, that was case where they didn't know what they were doing. Yeah. They just didn't know. I think we're out of time. Yeah, I think we're out of time here, guys. So thank you. Yeah, so thank you all very much for coming. Thank you for attending the panel and having a good discussion.
You guys are the best. You guys are super nerds. Dave, give it up. Dave knows his stuff.
Yep, Giannis as well. Thanks guys.